Hello, Spring Hill families. My name is David Schroer, and welcome to virtual curriculum night for the social studies courses that I teach, which is going to include U.S. History, AP Human Geography, and AP U.S. History. And I'm just going to kind of go and give you kind of a general overview of my classroom, how my classroom tends to function, and just general things about your course um, at Spring Hill. So basically, our grading policy here in social studies is slightly different than maybe perhaps other disciplines. We use a total point system where homework, classwork, quizzes, tests, projects, etc. They all have certain point values attached to them, and we determine how much something is "quote unquote" worth and what their value is based on variety of things, how rigorous it is or long it takes to complete, etc. The reason we kind of say that is because sometimes we may put a category in a grade book. Anything like English, for example, does category weights, where everything that's labeled a project or a classwork or homework is weighted somewhat towards their average. In social studies, it's not that, right? A project may be something really tiny that I just deem as a project because people work together. It didn't take them more than 15, 20 minutes, and it may be worth less than like a classwork grade or something like that. So it's worth kind of talking about at the onset because sometimes parents and students get really confused because it says project in the grade book or it says test and it didn't move their grade that much on the needle or whatever. They just understand that the total point system. The other thing is late work. Okay, so late work is it's a school policy, but it's 5% per day up to 5 days, 25% penalty maximum. After that, I do not, as the teacher, I guess, technically have to accept the late work. Now, for me, though, I mean, late work in these kind of times that we live in, right? Late work is essentially I come up to the student and ask, "Hey, do you have this project or assignment that's due today?" And they just look at me and go, "Oops, nope, I don't have it," right? Which happens. I didn't do it or whatever. It's not necessarily I've been really sick or something like that. We do ask that the kids and the students communicate with me, just to, if something's going on, right? If it's something's overwhelming you, even if it's just a lot, you've got a lot of work going on, right? You can communicate with me and we can try to work out something, right? So I always kind of tell students at the beginning of the year that please feel free to communicate with me. Any sort of issue that's going on inside or outside of school that may kind of delay completion of work. And I always tell them, like, I don't know what I don't know, right? If you come in and you don't have your work, I don't know that something may be going on that's prohibiting you from doing that work. So please feel, free to email me or whatever, and we can maybe hopefully work around that. In addition, the CP U.S. History class and the AP U.S. History class will be taking the end of course exam, which is required for U.S. History the 11th grade year. It counts, and this is a state rule, state law, whatever, it counts 20% of the student's final grade in the course. The AP Human Geography class does not have a end of course exam, but both AP Human Geography and AP U.S. do have, of course, the AP exam at the end, which do not impact their total averages in the course, but of course they do impact potential college credit. Classroom norms and expectations, and these are really true across the entirety of all three classes, right? I expect that you're taking notes and discussions, that you're maintaining kind of organized notebooks, and your bag is not the abominable black hole. Studying groups, we try to encourage students to kind of get together with people that they need to study with. I know in AP Human I already had one or two that formed that want to come and meet in lunch and talk about things that are happening in class to try to, either strengthen numbers. And the best way to learn something is to try to teach it to somebody else, right? So, and I would ask as your parent, if you're concerned, you want to know what your students, just ask them, right? Just ask them what are they learning about, and maybe them telling it to you is a really good way to kind of reinforce some of the things, particularly for things that are new. Peer collaboration, of course, with group work and group projects, we do that quite often. Metacognition and self-advocacy. We do ask that the students are self-advocates if they don't understand something or don't, let alone know, like have issues at home getting work turned in or something like that. But if they don't understand something, we want them to feel comfortable coming to us or emailing us for extra help. Like, again, like I don't know what I don't know, which applies to both what's going on in their lives and what's going on in their brains, right? In any way that I can try to help explain certain things to them, I'm pretty much a big nerd about social studies, so I have no problem talking about it. Right. We do argumentative writing and historical skill analysis in all three classes, and skill analysis in AP Human and geographical analysis there as well. Behavior expectations. Right. I just ask that you kind of be respectful of others. Right. Be on time and prepared. Of course, those are all school rules. Please have your fully charged Chromebook. Please bring your charger if you can, right? Because you're going to use it, right? Pens and papers and all that other good stuff, right? Anything that you may need with COVID and things like that, social distance masks. The desks are all, if you were here, but the desks are all spaced out at least 3 feet apart, which is the CDC's kind of guidelines now. For my class, particularly, I can't say the same about others. I don't know, but my class, the desks are all kind of spaced out 3 feet apart. Mask if you choose to wear those or whatever. Proper use of technology, right? We do ask that you have a device, of course. If you bring your district issue Chromebook, that's great, right? And we do ask, and this is what's becoming, the hardest thing, is that we're on task. I know that students have a various range of devices that can distract them from learning and doing what they're supposed to do, right? We do ask that they are using their technology properly. Right, how to navigate to your Google Classroom or to my Google Classroom, right? You go to classroom.google.com. You can see the instructions there. You can pause it if you like and check up on that. The Google Classroom is the central hub for the courses. Both the AP US and AP Human class will tacitly use AP Classroom mainly to sign up for their exam and maybe for some review stuff. But Google Classroom is going to be the central hub where they're getting their assignments, quiz dates, test dates, worksheet, study guides, etc. And with COVID stuff and students going out on quarantine and whatnot, I try to put as many of those assignments up there as possible. Also, if it's a hard copy, I try to put up extra copies on Google Classroom in case a student loses it or in case a student isn't here. So Google Classroom is a really, really important place to kind of get most of your work and information for the course. And that's really it. Thank you for taking the time here to kind of view my virtual curriculum night. Any questions specifically to me or about any of your specific courses, please feel free to email me there. The Schroer at Lecturich 5 is the best way to communicate with me, mainly because the phone number is like not a cell phone, it's a classroom phone, and I'm only in my classroom for a few hours a day, whereas at home, email can travel with me anywhere. And lastly, I really enjoy working here. I enjoy working with the students here, and I look forward to having a really great year. Thank you very much.